Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. For today's preview, Australia versus New Zealand, the Bledisloe Cup, ladies and gentlemen. One of the most exciting sort of internal cups in the world. Probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest. And it's a lot of fun to see how Bledisloe Cups go. Because if there's one game, I always say, I've been saying it for however long we've been doing this. There's one game, one sort of cup or tournament, mini tournament, that Australia always managed to make interesting. It is the Bledisloe Cup, despite the fact that they haven't won it in a long, long time, to be honest. I think they last held the Bledisloe Cup. I think we're talking about 2002, about 20 years ago, 21 years ago. So it has been incredibly dominant. However, if you look at some of the results, it is the game, especially the Australian league, where Australia off pitch out. If you look at last year, for example, I think they lost by just 2 points before then getting absolutely hammered the week after that. Similarly, the year before, they lost by, I think it was 15 points and then got hammered in New Zealand. So the New Zealand games are not usually very close. But when they actually happen in Australia, they're often pretty close. And it is in Australia this weekend. It is in Melbourne at the MCG, the Melbourne Cricket Ground. So, it could be record attendances, could be a very big crowd. I know they are still trying to sell tickets, but it should be a lot of fun. Now, before we look at the two sides, an incredibly interesting side for Australia and a very solid side. Well, a lot of continuity with the side from Ian Foster for the New Zealanders. Let's please do smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and let's have a look at them, shall we? So we'll start with the home side, which is Australia. I don't think too many people would have predicted this side. A couple of very big calls in very important positions, and a lot of that is James Slipper, the captain, being relegated down to the bench, with Tenea Tupou, who will make his return to Australian colours for this year, off the bench as well. So very much a powerful two props coming later in the game. As a result, Alan Alato will captain the side. He'll start at tight head. He's got Angus Bell on the other side of the scrum. David Parecki does continue to start in the middle of those two. Nick Frost, Will Skelton reignite, or their sort of lock combination. We saw that against the Springboks before Nick Frost was dropped, but he is back into the starting lineup. And Jed Holloway does keep his spot, but young Tom Hooper has recovered from injury and he will start in the number 7 jersey. No Michael Hooper just yet. He's still silent with injury. Rob Valentini continues in the number 8. Now, this is where it's been very brave. Our all-new halfback pairing of Tate McDermott and Carter Gordon. Eddie Jones staying cautious to win and backing the young scrum half and fly half to just do something, I suppose. And I think it's a little bit of show us what you got. At the end of the day, if you want to be a top player, you want to, bench a Nick White and a Craig Cooper, you've got to really show us what you've got. You've got to really show us you've got the mettle to put pressure on these sort of standout players. And what better opportunity to do that than the current form team of the world? And New Zealand are very much the form team of the world right now. Arguably Ireland as well, but obviously they haven't played quite in a few months. And New Zealand have looked very good in not only the last two matches, but actually in the last sort of 10 months. Last year they started to build quite nicely. This year they've very much looked back to their best. Elsewhere, Korobeti, Mark Nawakanitanaswe, he does continue there. Was a very, very good performance from him last weekend with that, or 2 weekends ago with that intercept try. Simon Karevi, Jordan Bataya are the centre combination. So no Len Ikatau, and as a result, Bataya will get an opportunity to stay claim, and a new full-back in Andrew Kellaway as well, who comes into the side and does start. No Tom Wright. He's actually dropped out of the squad completely. Then off the bench, Jordan Ulesi, James Slipper, Tenea Tupou will try and sort of nullify the impact that someone like Takawao, for example, coming off the bench for the All Blacks. So trying to sort of nullify the impact they're going to have. And Richie Arnold drops down to the bench. Rob Leotta is still there. And then Nick White, Pete Salmon, which I think for me is a bit of a bizarre selection. But Nick White, Craig Cooper, and Isaiah Perezi are the back line replacements. So Nick White, Craig Cooper will look to bring their experience on later in the match. If we look at the New Zealand side, it's almost a bit boring in that it's pretty predictable in that every single decision has been quite a simple. We stuck with our same team. There's an injury, therefore he comes in, and there's a return from injury, therefore he comes in. Type of situation, or certain players who have not been available are now suddenly available and come back into the side. So in the front row, Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor, Tyrrell Lomax continue their front row partnership, as do Brody Metallic and Scott Barrett in the second row with their lock partnership. So it is the same tight five that did beat the Springboks. In fact, there is only one change to the pack that sees Dalton Papali'i come in for the injured Sam Cane. Shannon Brazil starts off a very good game against the Boks, and Artie Sevilla will captain New Zealand on the day. Aaron Smith, Richie Mwanga are the halfback pairing. Bowden Barrett, Geordie Barrett continuing their 12 and 15 roles. Mark Taylor will join the two wings. Rico Awani will continue to sort of hone in his partnership with Geordie Barrett as well. Then off the bench, Samasoni Takawao, Ofa Tuongafasi, and Nepo Lualada. Very good replacement front row that the All Blacks do have. The big Sam Whitelock is back from injury and will come off, will make his return to the All Black colours this year. Off the bench, they've got Luke Jacobson who comes to the bench as well as Dalton Papali'i moving into the starting lineup. So Luke Jacobson moves onto the bench. Cam Roygott is set to make his debut for the All Blacks, the young halfback. Then you've got Anton Leonard-Brown, who is back after suspension. He comes into the side and will look to put pressure on both those sort of centres and really try to sort of stay a claim to start there. Potentially, Caleb Clark continues to wear the number 23 jersey, which in itself is quite an interesting decision. Kickoff is about 12 o'clock. South African Standard Time, it's 11:45. And as I said, it is at the MCG. So it should be a really cool game. It's a very cool venue. It is the largest trophy in the world. And then the return fixture will be next weekend. So yeah, at the end of the day, Australia looking at 2 from 2, looking at 3 for 3 losses. So they need to show something, don't they? At the end of the day, they haven't really shown much to sort of warrant any sort of hype about them potentially doing well in the World Cup so far. This is a big opportunity for them. At the end of the day, Eddie Jones has basically said that the New Zealand economy could be impacted if they were to lose this weekend. And it's played a bit of mind games out there, so it should be quite a fun occasion. I will be live for it. Come and join me on Saturday. Please do smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen, and I'll chat to you soon.